Hey everybody, Dutch Sense here. 8:14 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday, April 11th, 2012. And we're looking at Earthquake 3D here. You can see it. Today was a very busy day for earthquakes. First of all, we had the 8.0s that happened this morning. We had two 8.0s, possibly three, on the West Pacific. 8.7 and 8.2 for sure, possibly 8.9, 8.7, and 8.2. Plus all the 5.0s that followed that. You can see those here. Now, off the west coast of the United States, going into Central America, well, a 7.0 apparently struck roughly an hour ago. It's been de-elevated to a 6.5, but it's being reported anywhere from a 6.5 to a 7.0 struck south central Mexico. Let's get the stats on this. Okay, you can see here, reviewed by a seismologist, 12.4 miles deep. It's a pretty sizable movement for the area, guys. I mean, really, when we see it, you see a 6.0 up here off the west coast of Oregon. You see a 7.0 down here in Central America. Up here in Alaska, you even see 4 and 5.0 movement. And then on the other side of the planet, tremendous movement with dozens and dozens of 5.0s. South Mid-Atlantic Ridge, again, 5.4. This is all in the last 24 hours. It's a lot of movement, guys. Have your plans, be prepared just in case. Always have an earthquake plan, no matter where you live on the planet. The whole planet is seismically prone. There are certain areas that are more seismically prone than others. However, any place on the planet can get an earthquake at any time, which is why it's important to have your plans and be prepared. So food, water, transportation, communications, those kind of things. Cheers, folks.
Live. This is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is April 11th, 2012. Wednesday evening, and here's your update. That was the best I can do with Dutch Sense's channel. Yes. Let's see here. See if I can give your updates for today. I'm telling you, dinosaur stuff here. Just a moment here. We are moving slow. A lot of people probably on the internet tonight. Here we go. Alrighty then. Wasn't sure if I was able to put the camera back the way it should be. But here we go. Yes, a lot of things going on today. Let's first go to the Extinction Protocol 2012. And a strong earthquake hits Mexico on Wednesday. There's a lot of earthquakes today. I'm showing them all across the world. From your 8.6 in Indonesia, 8.6, 8.2. Someone called me and told me it was a 9.0. You have also in Mexico, 7.0. There's earthquakes off the African plate. My goodness, Mid-Atlantic Ridge. My goodness. Even a 5.9. Looks like it's a part of the off the coast, the west coast of the United States. Earthquakes all over the place. Earthquakes all over. Let's see. 6.5, Mexico Pacific Coast. 5.9 near Juan de Fuca. It's all over the place. The whole world is like shaking. Tempers flare between UAE and Iran over presidential visit. Okay, what else we got going on here? Number of earthquakes more than double in Arizona. 131 earthquakes were detected in 2011 compared with 53 in 2010. Okay, the 8.6, 8.2. Ocean floor off the coast of Sumatra. Tsunami warnings downgraded. So there weren't any tsunami warnings. I guess there was a warning, but it wasn't like says there was, says there wasn't. But there just wasn't a giant tsunami. That's all that matters so far. Now, let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, we read this yesterday. Rising global tension, Philippines' largest warship in tense standoff with Chinese surveillance vessels. That's out of Manila. That's something new. Clinton says Russia keeping Syrian president in power. Horse deaths baffle vets in Washington Southwest. Well, oh, that must be West Australia. Sorry about that. Let's redo that one. Horse deaths baffle vets in WA's Southwest, and it's out of Australia. And then again, yesterday, flip-flop fireball streaking across daytime Texas sky, called a jet contrail by NASA. They know it wasn't that. Okay, moving on. Let's go on to some other news channel here for you guys. Now I'm going to try to put this together with the editor again. I really didn't want to do the way I opened, but we'll see. I'm going to try to... it's taking hours to get the hang of this stuff. Now, let's see what's going on here. Fukushima fuel pools, impending disaster solutions. Arnie Gunderson off the Ms. Milky the Clown channel. I will favor that for you. I have something called New Favorites. Don't know if it's working yet. It's adding it, but I can't seem to add it to the video editor. So, look under my New Favorites. It's off to the right. It only took me till 4 in the morning to get that going. Don't you love it? You know? But, here you go. Yeah, feel sorry for the YouTube channelers. That's all I got to say. It's terrible. Now, let's go on to SOT.net. I don't think there's anything different than what's going on off of the Extinction Protocol, but we'll check that out real quick. For some reason, that's not up there anymore. SOT.net, Earth changes. Here we go. A lot of earthquakes today. A lot of people on the internet, I guess, from where I'm at. Because this is the high-speed internet, isn't it? Okay, springtime disappears in the UK. What the hell? What the hell happened? April showers and the possibility of tornadoes. Wow. Okay, and they're showing a tornado in Great Britain. Tsunami caught on camera. I'll have to try to favor that one. I don't know. Let's see what else we got going on. I think a different tsunami. Earthquake magnitude 7.0. Michoacan, Mexico. And that happened today at 22:55.16 UTC. Astronauts condemn NASA's global warning endorsement. Why today's Indonesia quake didn't make a monster tsunami. Number of earthquakes more than double in Arizona in 2011. USGS earthquake, magnitude 8.6, off west coast of Sumatra. It says 8.9 ACEH quake triggers Indian Ocean tsunami warning. Here's a real important one for you guys, and this will be a part of this video if I can do it right. Fukushima radiation plume has now hit Hawaii. In a year, it'll probably reach U.S. West Coast. There is an RT video that I put in my new favorites. I think it's towards the bottom. Look at my channel, and go off to the right and look down, and it should be on there, hopefully. If not, it's probably going to be at the end of this video if I can do it. And that's all the news for tonight. This is Hump Day. Again, like Dutch said, just like I've been saying, make sure that you have your water ready. Fill up your Coca-Cola empty plastic bottles that you were going to turn in and recycle. Forget it. It's worth more to you if you just take bottles. Just take bottles, any kind of bottles, fruit juice bottles, anything. Rinse them out and fill them with water. Start putting them against a wall. Always have a supply somewhere. Just put them against a wall in the kitchen or wherever. Even maybe line them up in the bathroom, wherever you. It's not going to get in your way. Try to keep the sunlight off of it so it doesn't grow anything in there. And make sure you fill it all the way to the top. Make sure you have some bleach on hand just in case something happens. And your food, your canned food, your go bag. Make sure you start packing the go bag. Make sure all your important paperwork's in like a tackle box or a to-go box that you can just grab it out of the closet and go if you need to, you know, along with like your go bag. Hopefully it's like a backpack or something so you can take it everywhere with you. Make sure you have supplies in your car too. Alrighty then, plenty of gas and supplies, and make sure whatever supplies you have in your house, make sure you have like a duplicate in your car if you have to. You know, that you're better off. And a life jacket in your car, just in case. You don't know what's going to happen if you're in a flood zone. Flash flood zoners, make sure that you have a life jacket in the back seat of your car. If it's you and someone else that usually rides with you, put 2 of them in there so you're not fighting over the life jacket. Yeah, don't put it in your trunk, because most likely you might, as soon as you get out of the car, and if it's flooding, you might get swept away. You want to have a life jacket on. And always, another good point was float on your back with your legs ahead of you, just like if you're going down one of them rapid rivers, because that way, if you see debris coming, you can kick off from the debris or kick it away. So always kind of like if the current is going this way, make sure that your feet are in front of you that way, so that you're floating on your back, you know, face out of the water, but you're floating on your back, and you're able to kick off from anything that you get bunched up into, some kind of debris, anything. It's better off that way. You have your feet in front of you, so you're not tangled up into anything, and that you don't get face first over and you can drown. You know, you can drown in a little bit of water. Make sure you're on your back, your face up, whatever's going on. You don't want to get knocked over on your face and drown in a few feet of water. Alrighty then, just be safe. It doesn't hurt to be safe. Better safe than sorry, you know. And I guess I'm checking out all the earthquakes. So some of my friends, all they're worried about is the Lakers. Well, go Lakers. But you know what? I'm trying to tell people in California, you should be prepared. Get ready. Oh no, I'm watching the Laker game, man. whole bunch of zombies out there. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So just be prepared. And that way, if you are sitting there watching the game or something, you still have your standby go, run and go pack with you. And everything's ready to go. You take care. Also, that Sense was mentioning that there might be tornadoes in Puerto Rico. Heads up, Puerto Rico, heads up. Check your weather out. Be careful, be safe. Tornado, make sure you have something to dig yourself out, just in case. Take care, everybody. And I'll see you again. This is Hump Day. It's Wednesday. It's almost over. 3 days down. 2 to go before the weekend. And you take care, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Poor Maxie, he's not feeling well. I'm sorry, Maxie. He had a cone of silence on him again for a while. He had the cone around him, and then it started bothering him. I had to take it off him real fast, but he'll be alright. He's a good boy.
Moving on to the continuing nuclear crisis in Japan, a radioactive wave is headed toward the United States. Scientists with the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution are tracking debris from last year's Japanese earthquake and tsunami as it makes its way across the Pacific Ocean. That debris, which carries with it extremely high levels of radiation, is currently 186 miles off the coast of Japan and could start lashing the coast of the United States within the year, depending on the currents. Scientists are immediately concerned about marine life being hit with radiation levels millions of times above normal. But by next year, it'll be in our marine food supply, our rain, and our coastal waters. So more than a year after the Fukushima nuclear crisis began, the world is still suffering its effects, with more to come. But despite all that, the Japanese government is reportedly preparing to restart one of its nuclear reactors. This week, the Japanese Prime Minister will meet with cabinet officials to discuss turning on a nuclear reactor in western Japan that's been shut down since the Fukushima crisis began more than a year ago. So why hasn't the world learned the lessons of nuclear power yet, even as radioactive waste is headed toward the U.S. West Coast? Kevin Camps joins me now. He's the radioactive waste watchdog at beyondnuclear.org. Kevin, welcome back.
Thank you, Tom.
So what is going on here with the Japanese saying, I thought, last time we talked, in fact, I thought that the consensus in Japan was no nukes.
Well, there's strong citizen pressure to keep now 53 of 54 reactors in Japan shut down. There's only one operating commercial reactor in Japan. It's going to shut down in early May. Japan will be a nuclear-free zone, and it's because of the anti-nuclear movement of Japan, the common citizens of Japan who, because of Fukushima Daiichi, don't want those risks in their lives anymore. And what the government and the industry are worried about is if they enter the summer with no reactors online and people's lights are still on, the electricity supply is stable, the air conditioners are working, people are going to start to ask, why do we have these risks in our midst? So the federal government, as you said, is sending their Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry to Fukui Prefecture in western Japan to try to convince the governor there who
You
wants
guys need a nuke.
safety upgrades in place before the restart. That's kind of a reasonable request, to just get out of the way. And the feds are hinting they may just override him at this point.
Whoa. Can these reactors be made safe?
No, I mean, if you lose electricity from the grid, if you lose the emergency diesels, as happened at Fukushima Daiichi, be it an earthquake and tsunami, be it some other natural disaster, Japan just in recent days was hit by another major storm. So there are many ways you can lose electricity to the safety systems, to the cooling systems. Right. And of course, you've got...
It could be a tornado in the Midwest.
Floods in Nebraska last summer, which were much more serious than they ever let on at the time.
Yeah. This wave of radioactive waste, or what has become now this, I don't know the word, beachhead or whatever, this just plume, I guess is a pretty good word, that is coming off Japan and heading towards us. What is it? What does it mean?
Well, almost to the day a year ago, Tokyo Electric intentionally released 11,500 tons or 3 million gallons of radioactive water into the ocean on purpose. The federal government of Japan gave them permission. There's recent news media reports that it was under pressure from the United States government, and the excuse at the time...
Why?
The excuse at the time was that Tokyo Electric was out of storage space for radioactive water at the plant, and they had a lot more coming. They were trying to keep the reactors as cool as possible because of the meltdowns. They were clearing away less contaminated water to make room for much more contaminated water to come. That's the decision they made. And that plume, as you said, it's taken a year, but it's now reached Hawaii. Another year from now, it'll probably reach the west coast of the United States. And yes, those are our fishing waters, but the fish happen to move around. There are species of tuna that spend part of their life cycle on the Japanese northeast coast, and they have migrated to the United States already. So where is the food monitoring program? There is no post-Fukushima food monitoring program in place. It was quickly dismantled. We're back to pre-Fukushima radiation monitoring, which could miss a lot.
Get to Amazon.com right now and buy a Geiger counter? Is that our food monitoring program? You're on your own, Charlie?
In Japan, I just met a woman in New York City who's now an anti-nuclear activist, and her sisters, her nieces and nephews are monitoring their own food, monitoring the food at the elementary school, and bringing in Fukushima refugees. Amazing. So the people of Japan have been thrown onto their own resources to protect themselves.
And the people of the United States, apparently?
Very much so. We see that up and down the West Coast, people getting radiation monitors, even to the point of checking their own food supply.
Yeah. I actually bought, in fact, I brought it in one of the times you were here on the show. You visited the Fukushima plant back in 2010. We just have 20, 30 seconds left. Thoughts on that?
Well, it's a dead zone where I went to, and the wonderful people I met are scattered to the wind across Japan and other countries. I also visited Fukui. I went to a 1,200-year-old Buddhist temple, and they have been a strong leader in the resistance to those reactors that now are slated for restart.
That's great. Kevin, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
It's always great to see you, even though it's rough news. I appreciate it. It's time for a worldwide ban on the most expensive and the most dangerous form of electricity generation on Earth, nuclear power. No nukes.